We'll get started, guys. Good morning. Happy Friday. So our topic this week, we're working on the science of stretching. So we're going to be talking about different kinds of stretching and how, in yoga, we can do these different, styles of stretching and what the benefits are. And some of the benefits of it as well. So I'm going to just read a little something quickly. This is from a book called The Science of Stretch. And it gives some really good overview on the science behind it, a lot of technical stuff, but also a lot of practical stuff. For example, it goes through with pictures of the anatomical position, what muscles are stretching, that kind of thing. But this is just about some of the interesting benefits that maybe you're not quite aware of. Some of the things were make sense, like increased mobility, right? That's pretty much a given. But stretching is also said to improve cognitive function, which that was a new one to me. So they said adults over 65 who participate in regular stretching are more likely to score higher on memory tests and be at reduced risk for dementia. So that's a good one. Improving blood pressure is another one. Promoting neuroplasticity, so another kind of brain-related thing here. Stretching can increase blood flow and oxygen to the brain, which promotes neuroplasticity and cognitive function by enhancing brain-derived neurotrophic factors and growth factors. It can improve our mood, improve our sleep quality, improve neuromuscular control and function, and reduce pain perception. So lots of different benefits in addition to making us more bendy, right? So we like to be mobile, but we also need strength. So we want to, the stretching helps kind of reset the muscles. And when we're under stress, tension, or when we get sick, our body tends to get tight. And that tightness is really a lot of the connective tissue, the fascia, that's kind of really serving as protection. So it senses there's some kind of threat, and that could be emotional threat, physical threat, that viral threat, and our body just wants to tense up in order to protect. And then that tightness, that makes us feel less mobile in our bodies. And so as we do our stretching, there's different mechanisms, different technical terms like Golgi tendons and sarcomeres. These are words we don't necessarily need to know, but just kind of throwing them out there that there's these scientific things that are happening in the body when we stretch that also helps improve things like fibrotic tissue. So when we have fascia that's kind of matted up, for lack of a better word. So think about when you sew a knot up and it's kind of all tangly, right? It's not smooth. So our fascia can get like that. When we stretch, that helps increase circulation. And when we have increased circulation, it's shown that we can also decrease inflammation in the body. We can also, I think I mentioned on Tuesday, there was a study that shows it can decrease tumors as well when we do continuous stretching. There was a study done at the NIH on mice, and they translated it to humans as far as 50% reduction in tumor size with regular stretching. So lots of good benefits. So we're going to go ahead, come on your back. We'll get started. Please have a strap nearby. And you might want to blanket under your head if that's comfortable for you. We'll come into our breathing. So go ahead, take some nice, slow, deep breaths. So I'm going to share one more little reading as you get into your breathing here. And this is called the sensory theory of stretching. The sensory theory proposes that stretch adaptation is primarily the result of changes in stretch tolerance, which is the result of nerve adaptation. This includes how the Golgi tendon organs and muscle spindles play a role in regulating muscle tension. So basically, this theory suggests that when a muscle is quote, stretched, it stimulates sensory receptors within the muscle and connective tissue. So a lot of this has to do with our nervous system. So as we take some nice long deep breaths, we're kind of preparing the body for stretch. So we have something called a stretch tolerance. When we come into a stretch, your body will start to meet that resistance. And we don't want to push past that resistance because the current research is showing that mild stretching is more effective than intense stretching because of that nervous system connection. So if we push past our body's boundaries, we're basically overriding our motor neurons and not listening to the body's resistance. And then we've gone too far, our body senses danger, and it can do the opposite effect and tighten up. So as we take a few moments to relax, we're sending kind of that safety signal to our body and increasing our potential tolerance for a stretch. So on your next inhale, let's take a full body stretch. And we're gonna hug right knee into the chest. And then extend the leg up straight. And just hold that. Interlace your hands behind the back of your thigh and just hold that stretch. So we have different kinds of stretching. When we hold a stretch, it's called a static stretch, meaning we're not moving. When we move, like through sun salutations, that's called dynamic stretching because we're continually moving, and we're going to do some of each. So now as you hold that stretch, we want to hold for about 30 to 60 seconds. And then studies show that if we do that a few times a day, a few times a week, we're going to increase our range of motion. But we need to repeat it. Not that you have to do a whole class that many times a week, but if you want to improve your hamstring range of motion, for example, right here, we would repeat this. Now, hug that knee back into your chest and circle your thigh bone around from your hip joint, okay? So when we circle, this is more a dynamic movement, right? We're not holding a stretch. We're just increasing our mobility and range of motion. So mobility is more about our joint movement, and flexibility is more about our tissue adaptation and the fascia and the muscle. So we need both, right? We need mobility and we need flexibility. Go ahead and circle the other way. And our joints are important parts of our stretching practice because at the joints, that's the vulnerable area because that's where our muscles attach and insert. And those are places that are more easily injured, like our hamstring attachments or the back of our knee. Hug that knee back into the chest. And now we're going to grab our strap and take the leg up with the strap. So whenever we're using a prop, and that could be a strap, it could be our hands, we're using some leverage. So if I weren't using the strap, it might be harder to hold the leg up, and we'll try that in a moment. So for now, you could gently pull with your strap and notice how that increases your range of motion. But we don't want to go really intense here. So we don't want to go past that 30 to 40% effort. Otherwise, we risk injury, we risk overriding our own motor neurons, and we can go too far. But as we breathe deeply here, you might find your stretch tolerance increases. So if the sensation of stretch subsides a little bit, you might be able to go a little bit farther. Okay, so just kind of test the waters there. Working with slow, mindful breaths, and see if the sensation of stretch decreases. And if it doesn't, the body's not ready to go farther here because your stretch tolerance is not there yet. Let's take one more breath. And then from here, take your strap into your right hand and we're opening that leg out to the side. Again, we've got the strap, so we have some assistance here. If we were to hold the leg out to the side without the strap, it would be a very different situation. So hold that, and now notice where you're feeling the stretch, maybe somewhere on the inner thigh, inner leg. And then turn your toes a little down toward the floor to see if that changes anything. And then hold and breathe. Slowly bring that leg back up, switch hands, and take the leg part way over to the other side. You can roll a little bit to your opposite hip, and now the stretch changes to the outer leg, outer hip. Keep the foot in a flexed position. Hold it here and breathe deeply. Stretching is often targeting the areas of the body that don't get a lot of stimulation in our regular everyday living. So we're trying to, do positions that, we wouldn't necessarily do this in our daily life, right? So we're trying to get into those areas that are more stagnant. And then we increase that circulation, the blood flow, and get some of those benefits that we talked about in the beginning. Go ahead and come back up. And now take the strap away and see, can you hold that leg up without the strap? So when we don't use leverage, we call it active range of motion. So keeping that leg up, can you pull it in any amount more towards your chest without using your hands? And when we use active range of motion here, we're going to increase strength in the muscle, particularly here, the quadricep and the hip flexor. Now, slowly take that leg out to the side, and we're not using the strap now, so see if you can control it. And don't roll off your left hip. Keep your left hip grounded. Reach through the heel, turn the toes toward the floor. And just feel what that's like without the assist of the strap. Bring that leg slowly back up and then take it partially over to the other side. You can roll a little bit toward the left outer hip. And again, we're having to use our strength to hold that leg up without the leverage of the strap. And bring the leg back up. And now slowly with control, bring the leg to the floor. Try not to drop it. Use control, and then release. And then take a breath or two. Just feel the right side versus the left, how it rests on the ground, any particular differences between right and left sides. All right, let's do the other side. So we're going to hug left knee into the chest. Hold there for a moment so the hands are leveraged, pulling that knee in. And then we're going to extend the leg up, interlace the hands behind the back of the leg. Again, when we use leverage, it's more of a passive range of motion. We're not having to work so hard, not having to use our muscular strength as much. Although there is still some of that. But as soon as we let go of the hands, the leg and the hip are going to have to work a little harder. Take one more breath there. And then bend the knee back into the chest and we'll circle. Circle around from the hip joint. Dynamic range of motion is when we're continually moving. And dynamic range of motion really benefits the joints a little bit more than the static. And then reverse, go the other way. All right, back to center, grab your strap, take it around the foot. So we'll start with the passive range of motion with the strap, and then eventually we'll go to active without the strap. So flex the foot and see if you might draw that leg a little closer using the leverage of the strap, but stay at a 30 to 40% effort. Okay? We don't want to be yanking like crazy, overstretching our hamstring. And when we keep it a milder stretch, the body is a little more responsive to that, doesn't resist it so much, doesn't perceive risk or threat. And as we breathe deeply, we might be able to draw in a little closer, but only if that sensation starts to subside a little bit. All right, holding the strap in your left hand, we'll take that left leg out to the side as far as you want to go. Flex the foot and then turn the toes a little down. Holding here, try not to roll off your right hip. Hold and breathe, feeling that sensation of stretch wherever it is you are feeling it. Imagine that as we stretch, we're releasing that stagnation, tightness, increasing energy flow, circulation. Bring that leg back up, switch hands, and take it across partway, stretching that outer hip, outer leg. All right, bring it back up, and then we're going to take the strap away. See if we can hold that leg up without the hands as leverage. Maybe you could pull that leg in a little bit more. Now the quadricep and the hip flexor have to work a little harder, so it's more of an active range of motion. Gonna take that leg slowly out to the side with control. Turn the toes down, heel up. Try to stay grounded through the right hip. And now with control, bring that leg back up and over to the other side. Reaching through the heel. Bring it back up. And now with control, lower that leg to the floor. Slowly, try not to drop it. And then let it come all the way down and feel the left leg versus the right for a moment. So every time we do a stretch, we're also increasing our brain map for that part of the body, especially when we use our awareness, our presence, our mindfulness. We're connecting our brain and our body. Go ahead, hug your knees to your chest, rock a little bit. And then we'll roll to the side and come on up into a seated position. Feel free to sit on blanket, prop if you like. All right, so sitting up nice and tall, inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, twist to the right. So we're gonna stay here holding this twist as you inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, we're gonna pull with our hands gently. So especially that opposite hand. So we pull with the hand, we're giving ourselves an assist. And we're using leverage. Now hold here another breath. Keep turning your torso into the twist and pick your hands up off your leg, off the ground, and let the hands kind of hover. Yeah. And now can you twist a little more? This is that active range of motion. We're not using leverage, so we're using more muscular strength. Good, now release the hands back down and pull again. Maybe you've increased your range of motion a little bit. Look over your shoulder. And then come back around and pause in the center. So when we kind of build in some of this active range of motion, we increase our stretch tolerance because we're increasing that strength, and that supports us in our stretching practice. So let's go ahead and do the other side. Reach up and twist. Okay, so first, using leverage. Inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, pull with your hands, turning into the twist. When you're ready, lift the hands off the floor, off your leg, and can you twist a little more just by your muscular effort? And then release the hands back down, and once again, pull. Look over your shoulder. Good, come back to the center, unwind, take a breath. All right, let's come into all fours and do our cat-cows. So cat-cows would be dynamic movement, getting a little stretch, but we're not holding anything. So we're not at risk of activating our stretch reflex, the protective mechanism in the body. So we're simply moving through that range of motion. Take your time. When you finish your fifth round, move back to a child's pose, hips to heels. Take a few breaths. So child's pose now would be a static stretch. We're holding it, we're breathing, relaxing into it. Take another breath. And then from here, we'll come back up through table, walk your hands a little forward of your shoulders, and then tuck toes, lift up to a down dog. Feel free to pedal it out a little bit. That'll be some dynamic stretching of the legs. When you are ready, walk forward, top of the mat, and fold over your legs. Inhale to a halfway lift. Stay here, hands on thighs, gives you a little support. Bring a little bend in your knees, and then try bringing your hands to your heart. So now I'm stretching through the back chain of my legs, hamstrings, without that support of the hands. Also works on back strength here. Hold one more breath. And then release and fold. Next inhale, arms reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so a couple half sun salutations, and we're gonna build in that active range of motion as we do it today, so a little variation. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, hands to the heart. Fold over your legs. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hands to heart. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway lift, hands to heart instead of the thighs, using the legs, using the back, and fold. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway lift. Hands to heart. Fold forward. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands to heart. Very good. All right, hands on the hips. And we're gonna stand on our right leg and we're gonna make circles with your left leg. Okay, so if you need to, feel free to hold on to a wall and just make circles, okay? And you can stand down in between, or if you wanna balance, you can just keep going, up to you. So this is a dynamic range of motion for the joint, just like we did on our back, and then reverse. So again, feel free to hold on to something. Feel free to tap down in between if you need that help with your balance. Good, and release. And then let's switch sides, stand on the left leg and circle. So your choice if you wanna tap down or if you wanna keep going. Good, and reverse. One more. Good, and release. All right, so increasing our range of motion, our flexibility is not only good just to be able to be bendy, it's also helping us with things like our posture, our balance, because if our body's kind of all tight, tends to kind of be out of alignment, hunched over, crooked, those kinds of things, and that can affect how well we balance and do things like help us prevent falls, really good for our longevity, to keep our circulation and keep our joints mobile. Standing with hands on hips, stand on your right leg, come onto the ball of your left foot. And then from here, lift and lower your knee. So again, this is a dynamic range of motion. We are doing a bit of balance here. So again, feel free to be at a wall if you want to move to a wall space. Okay, now see if you can keep that knee up. So that's our active range of motion with our hip flexor. How far that knee comes up depends on how strong this muscle is here, okay? So hold that up and then use your hand for a little assist and pull it up a little higher. So now we're using leverage. Now there's lots of chairs around too, guys. Feel free to use a chair. All right, release, stand down, take a breath. So you can probably see the difference between when you use leverage, when you don't use leverage, what your body can tolerate. And when we use the leverage, we kind of bypass what our muscles naturally capable of. So when we do both, we're getting both that strength and mobility. So let's try the other side. Simply lift and lower. See if you can get that knee a little higher each time, working that hip flexor. Such an important muscle for our posture. Good, now hold it up and see if you can pull it up a little higher without leverage. And then when you're ready, add the hands. One hand or both, up to you. Pull it a little higher if you can with your hands. And release. All right, just kind of shake it out a little bit, move around a little bit. Changing it up now, standing on the right leg, ball of the left foot. This time, turn your leg out to the side. So this little sequence is helping us build strength to work on something like tree pose, because for tree pose, we need this hip flexor. We also need some hamstring in order to get this leg up high. So a lot of times we can't get that leg up because this muscle's weak, so we're building that strength, okay? Hands can be wherever you feel steady. Could be at your hips, at your heart, or out to the side if you need that balance help. So then we're going to take that left knee, lift, and lower. So this is active range of motion and dynamic range of motion, which is helping our mobility in our hip joint. Good, now lift it up, hold it up, squeeze it up. How high can you get that knee? And now bring that foot in for tree pose. And if you want to go a little bit more help with your balance, just keep that foot on the floor, okay? Find your balance. And then bring the foot away from the leg a moment. Active range of motion, lift it a little higher. And then bring that foot back in. Maybe arms go up. Good, and release. Take a breath, stand in mountain pose for a moment. All right, other side. So we're going to stand on the left leg, come onto the ball of the right foot, turn the knee out to the side. We're also using some of that outer hip muscles here. Pick your hand position, whatever works for you. Standing leg nice and strong, and then lift and lower. And using that hip flexor muscle. Okay, next time, hold it up wherever you can. See if you might lift it a little higher. And then bring the foot in for tree. Find your balance. Take the foot away and lift it up a little higher and bring it back in. Maybe arms reach. Good, and release. So if we only just go into tree without, those skill building, we never get that hip flexor stronger, the hamstring stronger. So all that's going to help us gain range of motion, gain strength, gain flexibility. All right, separate your feet a little bit. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, fold. Hold opposite elbows or big toes or any other variation. This would be a static stretch. Holding for about 60 seconds. You can bend your knees as much as you like here to help you get a little bit of, release through the back of the legs. Slow, deep breaths. And as you breathe slowly and deeply, sometimes you'll find that your range of motion increases. You might be able to go deeper, but without force, without that strain of pushing yourself deeper. Let's take 2 more breaths. After that second breath, you can press up or roll up, but use your legs to press the floor away. As you come up, give your shoulders a little roll. All right, stand in mountain pose, take another breath. All right, so we're gonna grab our strap. Again, lots of balance today, so feel free to be at the wall if you need to be at the wall. We're gonna take strap around the right foot. I'm sorry, left foot. Let's stand on the right foot. Sorry, stand on the right foot. Okay. Straps around the foot, and we're gonna pick that foot up and see if you can hold close to the foot. So now again, we have leverage with the strap. We're gonna take the knee out to the side. Feel free to have the opposite hand on the wall or the hip. If you want to go further, start to straighten that leg out to the side. Good, now bring it back to the center. Take the strap away and see if you can hold that leg up. So now it's active range of motion. Good, release. Take a breath. All right, other side. Strap around the foot. And then you want to lift the foot, hold close to the foot as you can. Oops, lost my loop. All right. And then decide on your hand placement, hip out to the side, whatever helps you balance. Take the knee out to the side. If you want to go further, straighten the leg out to the side. Good, bring it back in. Take the strap away. Can you hold that leg up? So it's an active range of motion. Good, release. All right, stand in mountain pose for a moment. You can come back to your mats now. We're done with the balance. All right, inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Step back to down dog. And then knees down, child's pose. Let's take a couple breaths now. Just letting go of that work. All right, come all the way down onto your belly. Bring your arms into a goalpost position. Press down through your tailbone. And now lift your chest, pressing your arms into the floor. So we use the floor as leverage now. See how high you're coming up. Just noticing. And then release. Turn your head to one side. Stay there for a breath. Now coming back up, lifting the chest, but now we're going to pick the arms up. So when you pick the arms up, do you lose some of that height? Let's see if we can now lift the arms a little higher. Holding it here, another breath. And release. So when we use the floor, we have the leverage to press into. When we take the floor away from the equation, we're building more back strength. All right, reach your arms behind you. Lift the arms up, lift the head and chest up. And now try to squeeze your arms towards each other. So again, if we were to clasp our hands, that would be leverage. Now we're just using our muscular strength. If you want more, lift your legs. Try to lift a little higher using that active range of motion. And then release. Okay, next round, you can either clasp your hands, so then that will give you a little more leverage, or you can also use a belt between your hands. If you have like broad shoulders, tight shoulders, it's hard to clasp, you can use your strap. Okay, reach your arms back, strap or clasp your hands, and then squeeze your shoulders up. Lift your chest, lift your arms. Optional, lift your legs. And then pull your knuckles towards your feet. Hold another breath, lift a little higher if you can. And release. Take the feet up, windshield wiper, side to side. All right, slide your hands under your shoulders, press yourself up. Tabletop, walk your arms forward, about right inside your mat's distance. Tip your sit bones up and let your chest come down. So now this is a static stretch, holding it, increasing range of motion in the shoulder joints. If you need to, you can always come back to child's pose if this is hard for you to maintain. Hold another breath. Good, and then everyone, child's pose. All right, coming into seated, we're gonna grab our strap again. We're gonna have feet flat, knees bent. So doing a lot of this leg lifting, which is strengthening for our hip flexors. So first we're gonna do with leverage, bring your strap around your feet. Pull on the strap, get your upper spine in. So we just did all that back bending for back strength. A lot of times we sit here and we round, so we want to kind of get the spine to move in, and then lean back, get your feet off the floor, and straighten your legs and you mount. Pull on the strap, draw your spine in. Hold here. Maybe bend the elbows, pull a little more if you have that range of motion. One more breath. A lot less demand on those hip flexors using the strap. All right, slowly release. Set the strap to the side. Straighten the legs, bring your hands behind you. Lift and open the chest. Good, bring the chest back down, bend the knees. Option to repeat that or lift the hips up, reverse table. Good, slowly come back down. And now feet in front, reach your arms forward. So now no strap. We don't have the benefit of that leverage. So it's going to be a little harder on those hip flexors. Lean back. Try to get the feet up off the floor. Hold the knees in using those hip flexors. Some of you might be able to straighten the legs a little bit. Remember, so much easier with that strap. Spine in, lift your chest. Good, release. Hands down. Either just doing your chest stretch or reverse table. It's kind of the opposite here. Opening your hip flexors, opening your shoulders. Good, and come down. All right, grab the strap again one more time. So we're gonna keep the right leg down, put your strap around your left foot. Draw your shoulders back, lift your chest, and then see if we can get that foot up off the floor using our leverage. Straighten the leg to your capacity, lift your chest, press your foot into the strap. Maybe you can bend the elbows, lift it a little higher. Remember, we're going to be about that 30 to 40%. We're not over efforting. Now strap in your left hand. Let's take it out to the side. Same thing we did on our backs. Okay, hold that, lift your chest. Good, now bring it back to center. Lift it a little higher, take your strap away. Can you hold that leg up? That's your active range of motion. Take it out to the side. Hold it up, hold it up. Bring it back in and set it down. Very good. All right, yes, lower back can compensate for that lack of strength in the hip flexor. So now one leg bent, keep that left leg straight. Inhale, reach the arms and stretch forward now. So now a static stretch, hold here. So current research showing that a 30 to 60-second stretch is all we need for increasing range of motion. And doing that multiple times a day, multiple times a week is going to give us the best benefits. However, there is also research showing holding it longer than 30 to 60 seconds has different benefits. No increase in range of motion necessarily, but the benefits are more meditative, mind calming, nervous system balancing, immune system and lymphatic system benefits. So our body can't detoxify if it's in a state of stress and tension. And so it will prioritize survival rather than those functions that are not immediately necessary. Our digestion can improve when we relax our smooth muscle. And smooth muscle is all the muscle beyond our conscious control, like our digestive tract. So let go here for 3 more breaths. All right, slowly when you're ready, walk your hands up and come back up to vertical and straighten the right leg. All right, so other side. So bend the left knee and we'll take our strap around right foot. Side 2, mentally prepare, and then we'll take that leg up. So remember, it's going to be a lot more, accessible with the prop as leverage. Try to bring your upper spine in. See if maybe you can bend the elbows, lift that leg a little higher to your your stretch tolerance. And the more you do these things, the more that stretch tolerance increases. Strap in your right hand, take it out to the side. Stay tall through your center. All right, here we go. Bring that leg back to center. See if you can lift it up. Take the strap away. Hold it up as high as you can. Use that leg, use the hip flexor. Take it out to the side. Hold it up. Back to center. Release. All right, coming into our passive stretch now. Feel free to stick a block under the knee. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, and we're holding here a little longer. Deep breaths. Allow the nervous system to be reshaped. Okay, bringing yourself into a state of calm. So if we're going past that 30 to 40%, we're overriding our nervous system and we're going to tighten back up. So keep it a mild stretch. Deepen only as your body invites you to do so. Last 2 breaths. After that second breath, use your hands, bring yourself back up, and straighten the other leg. All right, take a breath there. All right, let's go ahead, come onto your back. Almost out of time. Go ahead, come down and give your knees a hug into your chest. And really rock out that lower back. Because a lot of the work we did today with lifting the leg off the floor, if we don't have that strength in our hip flexor or quadricep, a lot of times the lower back compensates for that. So you may have noticed that. So go ahead and, rock it out, massage out the lower back. It might feel good to do a little bit of windshield wipers or a simple twist to each side. So kind of tune in what your body needs for a few moments. Maybe a happy baby. And then take your time. We're going to come into Shavasana. When you are ready to, you can take a few more minutes if you want to finish releasing. Now, after we've done the practice and these various ways of stretching, so we did static stretching, dynamic stretching, we did shorter holds, longer holds, active holds. We allow our system, our muscular skeletal system to come back into balance. Potentially releasing those areas of tension and armoring and protection that kind of beyond the conscious level of our awareness just starts to happen when we're under a lot of stress, if we're sedentary, if we've been sick. And so now the muscles come back to their resting state. So what we perceive as tightness and tension is often that protective measure of the body. The muscles themselves haven't really gotten shorter, like as far as their length is concerned. They're just holding that tension. And when we release it through stretching, they come back to their original state. So healthy muscle can contract and relax on demand, but sometimes we get stuck in holding patterns. And those holding patterns can be tightness. They can also be patterns of weakness and or dormant muscles. So we woke them up today with some of that active range of motion. I'm going to share a reading and then give you a little quiet time. This is from Katie Kamara, called Your Capacity for Joy is Limited by What You Refuse to Feel. We try to escape emotion, believing distance from discomfort will bring relief. But what we are actually avoiding is movement. Emotions are not static burdens. They are directional forces. They are designed to move you out of what no longer fits and into what does. When you resist them, you do not become free, you become stagnant, contained within environments, relationships, and identities that are already too small for you. The issue is not the emotion, but the resistance. We do not suffer because we feel. We suffer because we try not to feel. We suppress, override, or reinterpret what is present in order to maintain control. But control comes at the cost of range. When you narrow your emotional experience to avoid discomfort, you also reduce your ability to access depth in any form. And this is why moments of joy often feel brief and unsustainable. Depth requires capacity. You cannot hold sustained love, joy, or fulfillment if your system cannot also process grief, anger, fear, disappointment. These are not separate channels. They are part of the same structure. The emotions you avoid are the very ones that expand your capacity to experience more. They carve space. And without that space, there is nowhere for intensity to stabilize. So the path is not escape, it is expansion. You engage what is present without collapsing or controlling it. And over time, it will change your baseline. What once overwhelmed you becomes manageable. What once passed quickly can now be sustained. The life you want is not built by avoiding what is difficult. It is built by increasing your capacity to hold it without losing yourself. And that kind of to me related to that idea of our stretch tolerance as well. We'll take a few more moments to rest.
For the next few moments, starting to come back. Gentle movements, deeper breaths. Take your time to move as you like, eventually come to your side. Have a pause on your side before coming up to sit. Palms together in front of your heart space. Take an inhale, exhale, bow inward. Namaste. All right, good work, everyone. We'll see you next week. Next week's going to be a little more relaxing topic, so I'll see you then.